All right, let's jump right in. We're seeing this play out everywhere, right? Companies are bringing in AI and, well, laying people off. The standard thinking is, hey, it's tough for the employee, but it's a big win for the company. But what if that whole idea is just wrong? What if it's actually a trap that could end up hurting everybody, including the companies themselves? So this is the central puzzle, isn't it? On the surface, swapping out human jobs for AI looks like a total no-brainer from a business perspective. I mean, profits are going through the roof for companies that are doing it. So where's the catch? What's the problem? Well, that is exactly what a fascinating new research paper digs into, and we're going to break it all down. Okay, first things first, let's really get our heads around why this is happening in the first place. Because if you're looking at it from inside a single company, using AI to replace certain roles seems like the most logical, most strategic move you could possibly make. At the end of the day, it all boils down to one thing: cutting costs. Businesses are in this constant race to be more efficient. And right now, AI looks like the ultimate silver bullet. They're pouring money into AI, and at the same time, they're cutting what they spend on people. And you can see why. The short-term wins are crystal clear. You have fewer salaries to pay out, which is almost always a company's biggest expense. That frees up a ton of cash that you can then reinvest into, you guessed it, even more AI. It creates this cycle that, for now, is leading to absolutely massive profits. It looks like the perfect recipe for success. And here's where it gets kind of weird. This is the big irony of the moment we're in. We're not talking about struggling companies that are just trying to keep the lights on. No, these are businesses that are doing better than they ever have. They're posting record profits, and yet they are still cutting their workforce. That fact alone should make you stop and ask, wait, what is actually going on here? Okay, so this brings us to the absolute heart of the paper's argument. There's this hidden feedback loop, a connection in the economy that a lot of companies seem to be ignoring. It's a really simple connection that, if it breaks, could cause the entire system to start to unravel. It all starts with something super basic. A business hires somebody and it pays them a salary for the work they do. You know, the foundation of how our economy works. And what happens to that money? It doesn't just disappear into a vault somewhere. That employee immediately turns around and spends it on groceries, on their streaming subscriptions, on a new pair of shoes, on stuff from thousands of other companies. So here it is, the light bulb moment. An employee is also a customer. The very same people who are earning the salaries are the ones who create the demand for all the products and services that keep businesses afloat. Now, let's just zoom out. When one company lays off a few people, it's a drop in the bucket. But what happens when every company starts doing it all at once? Well, then you're not just cutting costs anymore. You are systematically shrinking the entire pool of paying customers for everybody. And when people don't have paychecks, they spend less, demand plummets, and the whole economy starts to slow down. So you have to be asking, if this leads to such a bad place for everyone, why are all these smart companies marching right toward it? Well, the paper uses a concept from game theory to explain it. It's basically an arms race, an automation arms race, where everyone feels like they have to participate. This quote just nails the paradox perfectly. For any single company, hitting go on automation is a smart, rational, profitable decision. But when all the companies make that same smart decision, the result for the entire group is, well, collectively stupid and damaging. The paper uses a brilliant analogy to explain this. Imagine you're at a concert. Someone in the front row stands up so they can see better. Smart move for them. But now you can't see, so what do? You stand up too. And then the person behind you stands up. And pretty soon the entire stadium is on its feet, everyone is tired, and guess what? Nobody has a better view than when they were all just sitting down. Everybody made a logical choice for themselves, but the final outcome is worse for the whole group. And that right there, that is the trap. A company can see this danger on the horizon, but they feel like they can't afford to be the one to stop. Because if they don't automate, but their biggest competitor does, they'll get left in the dust. They'll lose. So they feel forced to join the race, even if they suspect it's a race to the bottom. So if we're all caught in this trap, is there a way out? Is there an escape hatch? Well, the paper looks at a few of the common ideas people throw around and kind of pokes holes in why they might not be enough to solve this specific problem. So what about the usual solutions we hear, like upskilling workers, training them for new jobs? Well, that's great for individuals, but it doesn't change the company's incentive to just automate that new, higher-skilled job anyway. What about universal basic income, or UBI? Sure, it gives people some money, But it doesn't solve that bigger problem of collapsing consumer demand that powers the whole economy. Even profit sharing. It's a nice idea, but it does nothing to slow down that competitive race between companies. And as for just letting the free market figure it all out, the paper pretty much says that could be the most disastrous option of all. So if those ideas don't work, what could? The paper puts forward one really interesting and, yeah, definitely controversial idea, an automation tax. The concept is pretty simple. The more a company relies on automation to replace its human workers, the more it has to pay in taxes. Now, to be super clear, the goal here is not to kill innovation or stop the progress of AI, not even close. The idea is just to put the brakes on the overuse of AI purely for the sake of cutting jobs. It's meant to moderate the arms race, not end it, just to give society a little breathing room to adapt instead of letting things spiral. Of course, this is way easier said than done. Actually, implementing something like this would be incredibly complex. I mean, how do you even define automation for tax law? Getting all the governments in the world to agree on it. It would be a political and logistical nightmare. So this is very much a theoretical solution for now. And that really brings us to the biggest takeaway from this whole thing. This isn't really a prediction of what's going to happen. It's more of a powerful thought experiment. The authors of the paper actually call it a brain teaser. It's a model that's designed to make us challenge our basic assumptions about AI, about jobs, about how the economy works. It forces you to look past the short-term win for a single company and really think about the health of the entire system. So we're left with this huge question. Is a radical idea like an automation tax the key to balancing all this amazing progress with some kind of stability? Or is the real solution something completely different, something we haven't even thought of yet? The future isn't written, but this theory gives us a new and really important way to look at it. What do you think?